Welcome to Dysfunctionally Yours, the podcast where we embrace the chaos, laugh through the struggles, and find hope on the other side of trauma. I'm your host, Brittany, and if you've ever felt like your life was a beautifully messy roller coaster of dysfunction, trust me, you're in good company. Here, we'll have real, raw, and sometimes ridiculous conversations about mental health, relationships, and healing, because let's be honest, life isn't always pretty, but that doesn't mean we can't come out of it stronger and maybe even smiling. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of bubbles, and let's navigate this wild journey together, dysfunctionally, but never alone.
Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Dysfunctionally Yours, and I'm Brittany. How was everybody's week? So I didn't know until halfway through the week that the uploads for last week's episode were all messed up and that it had put out the same week twice in a row and that there were complications with that. There was some huge technical issues that were not showing up on my end, but were definitely showing up through like Apple and Spotify. And I did not know that right away. So I apologize for that. I do hope that you were able to circle back to it and catch the actual episode because it was kind of a fun episode and I enjoyed making it. I feel like the holiday episodes had been a little like chaotic, or maybe not even chaotic, but a little like heavy, right? But that one was kind of fun. So I hope you're able to go back and find it. It has been corrected and it is there for your viewing and listening pleasure. Actually, like the YouTube was fine because that's a very different uploading process. And that one is very much not edited at all. Like it's a very raw, like Brittany being chaotic. There's not all of the edits. What is happening? Every time I say things like that, what is happening? It's on there. It's on the YouTube. Okay. So, any hoodles poodles. So, they say if you do something enough, it's bound to get interesting, right? So we all know I don't go shopping, but if I do go shopping, I go to Target. And so in going to Target, I don't know that I've ever run into somebody that I really know at Target. I did. So this week I ended up at Target twice for some bizarre reason, like not because I had nothing better to do, but it apparently was necessary. The first time I go into Target, I'm walking through and the lights go out, pitch black, just an automatic like you hear a click and like everything powers down. It's pitch black in there. Like I haven't seen a blackness of that caliber in a hot second. And so my ass is like, are you effing kidding me? Like, so just like blurted it out. I did not say effing. I absolutely said the correct word. And then the lights pop right back on again, and standing not 4 or 6 feet away from me is a toddler and his parents. And I'm like, oh, I apologize. I'm so sorry. And then in apologizing, I cussed again at this family. And I was like, oh my God. So then I spent the rest of my trip to Target avoiding this particular family. So there was that happened. The next time I was at Target, I'm strolling through, I'm minding my business. And I run into like a friend / coworker. And I was just like, hey. And she's like, hey. And it was like a movie. Like when you see people run into each other in the grocery store and they give you whole life updates. That's how this was. Like this woman was with her kiddos. I've never met her kids. I've heard a lot about her kids. And so I got a formal introduction. And then she's like, oh, tell Brittany about your day. This little girl proceeds to tell me all about her day, all about her favorite things. Her brother tells me some more things. And it was like we'd known each other forever. And then we like stroll along the aisles together for a moment and not really like because we were talking, but because we were shopping for the same sort of things. And so we were going the same way. So then we finally split apart. Bye. Have a great day. Little kids are like, bye, Brittany. So then we end up in the checkout line at the same time, pay no never mind to each other in the checkout line. But then we end up walking out together as well. And so it was like, oh, imagine that. We're walking out together. Ha ha ha. It was this like very, very produced sort of movie, like a little like rom-com or something. And it was like, bye, see you tomorrow. Hee 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 hee. Yeah. So that was my Target experience. So there's that. It's not really important, but like I never have interactions like that with people. Like when people are like, "Oh yeah, I ran into so and so at the store. I ran into so and so at the store." I don't have those types of interactions because I don't go to the store. So all of these years later, in all of my years of going to the Target, I ran into somebody. And it was my very own movie. All right. Ache and relief of the week. My ache of the week, I did not get therapy this week. I was so bummed out. I had something come up at work that actually took priority. I hate when that happens because it very rarely happens. I do 100% believe that my mental health is my priority. But I couldn't get out of this one. And then lo and behold, that priority ended up getting pushed out. So I go back to my therapist and I'm like, hey, if by chance you didn't fill that, I can still come. And of course she's filled it because why wouldn't she have filled it? And so I got no therapy and I was very bummed out. So that is definitely my ache of the week. My relief of the week, though, is I had so much friend time this week, like so many friend activities. I had like a happy hour midweek or like late in the week or whatever. I had brunch, but we're going to call it breakfast because breakfast without mimosas or a Bloody Mary or something is really just breakfast. It's not brunch. And this was a very sober breakfast. So we had breakfast. It was lovely with a different friend than the one prior. And then I went to see a movie with a girlfriend too. I had so much friend time. So many activities. My therapist would be very proud of me for being so social. So that was cool. I want to also say, so whenever I went to breakfast, there is this restaurant. It's called Le Peep. I don't know. Nobody else says it that way, but like, why would you call it Le Peep when you could call it Le Peep? Anyways, it's called Le Peep. And I have not been there since I was a kid, since I was living in my parents' casa. And maybe one time when I had come back to visit, I went to see my uncle and met him there for breakfast so I could see him. But like, I have not been there since I was a kid, and I hated going when I was a kid. Like, I feel like the rattlesnake really liked it. And I remember she always got really excited about these gooey buns that they have, which has this like brown sugar, cinnamon, gooiness on it. And then like icing and then all like toasted almonds on it on an English muffin. And as a kid, I hated that. Like, why are there so many nuts on this thing? Why are we putting this gooey grossness on top of a English muffin? I don't understand. I hated it. So I never liked going. There's nothing actually very cool for a kid at Le Peep. So I haven't been, and I always associate it with the rattlesnake. So I'm like, I'm not going there. Like, I'm not going there. Like, there's so many other places I could go. I don't need to go there. Well, my friend picks the breakfast location, and I'm like, sure, let's go there. Let's do that. Actually, let's make a new memory. And also, they don't serve alcohol. And I do dry January every year. So we are halfway through the month and doing like so great. So I was like, let's do this and not be tempted to do bad whenever we're doing so good, right? So anyways, we had a great time. I tell my friend why, like, the story about how I haven't been to Le Peep in so long. And so it was really just this opportunity to make a different memory, to remake a memory so that that restaurant, which has great food, actually has great food, so that that memory is no longer associated with the rattlesnake. So check, check, and check. It was phenomenal. Great food, great memory, great experience. 10 out of 10 will go back. Love it. Okay. Has anybody else ever had that experience where you just associate a place with something you don't want to associate it with? Whether that's an ex, like mine obviously is the rattlesnake, but like it could be an ex, it could be, I don't know, just something unfortunate happened. And then you're like, I'm never going back there again. Like that place holds such strong sentiment that you're like, no, never again. Well, here I am 20 some odd years later. And I'm like, yes, let's keep doing that. That was great food. Great experience. Oh, I just spilled coffee. Oh, how? Well, if it can be done, Brittany will do it. All right. Throughout the week, I had posted some things onto the Instagram about like sort of when we joke around about like, oh, that's psychopath behavior, that's serial killer behavior. Obviously not actually, but things like how you put your shoes on, if you sleep with socks on, right? We've seen all of those types of memes and things on social media. So anyways, it came to be because I was paying attention to how I was putting my shoes on. And once upon a time ago, I would have said I am absolutely a sock, shoe person. And then I was putting my shoes on and I watched it for about a week. I was like, is this really what I'm doing? And I even tried to do it differently, but it was so not the muscle memory in how I do this. I actually put on sock, shoe every day. And I was like, I feel like that is like weird, crazy people behavior. Like people usually do sock, shoe. So that is what prompted me to put some of these other things. And I had looked online, like, what are people calling sociopath, like, serial killer behavior, jokingly, right? So I put those on, and only 17% of the viewers that participated in this poll also do the sock shoe. So I am weird. I am weird. I knew I was. I am weird. But other things that came out of those surveys, we found out that 60% of people charge their phone at night. And I thought that was actually lower. I thought it was going to be higher, but it was 60% of their people charge their phone at night and 40% charge it after it dies. I am absolutely that person that I can see that it is on 2%. The plug can be 4 feet away from me, and then I still will use it until it dies, and then I'm annoyed that it died. I am that person. And apparently so are 40% of the other people. Although 67% of the people have a car charger. I do not. I do not have a car charger. I am living on the edge with that stupid cell phone. I don't even care if it works or not. I think I walked around all day on like Tuesday or Wednesday with my personal phone dead and having no idea about it. Didn't even realize it. And I got home and I was like, oh, oops. So I should work on getting at least a car charger, right? Because like, I don't know, what if my car died and I needed to call roadside assistance even, right? So I should work on being a responsible adult somewhere along the way. I asked about if people eat in the shower. What are your thoughts on eating in the shower? 50% of that poll said no, that is also serial killer shit if you're eating in the shower. I had an ex who ate in the shower. Cereal, leftovers, whatever, just eating in the shower. And I'm like, that you're so weird. And apparently 50% of the people also agree with that. 50% also said that they're cool with a shower beer. I would not have a shower beer. but I do take a glass of wine to the bath time. So I guess it's like same, but different. So no food, but apparently we are okay in partaking in alcoholic beverages while we shower, whatever that means. And an odd amount of people, this one I did not pull from anywhere on social media. I kind of pulled it from myself because I am neurotic about my toothbrush and toothpaste and things like that. Look at these teeth. Ting! But an odd amount of people only change their toothbrush when the bristles fall off. 43% of people said that they only change their toothbrush when the bristles fall off. That seems really high. That seems really, really, really high. Like, my friends, can we go get a multi-pack of toothbrushes and just change it monthly, more regularly? I like to change my toothbrush when it starts to, the bristles start to feel a little bit broken down. I really, really, really appreciate the way a toothbrush feels when it's brand new. And it's my teeth just feel cleaner. My mouth feels better. Maybe I like it a little rough. What? Who said that? And then 100% of the people said no socks to bed. No socks to bed, because that is the number one indicator of psychopath behavior. So at least we all know that we have some similarities together. None of us are wearing socks to bed. And now, if you do wear socks to bed, forever hold your peace, because you will be judged. I am certain of it at this point. All right. In typical Brittany fashion, I was sitting around doing some overthinking, some pondering, if you will, of sorts. And I was like, if you can be nonchalant, which is the goal, right? The goal is always to be like, oh, she's so nonchalant about that. Oh, he was so nonchalant about how that happened. Can you just be chalant? Can you just be chalant? So if we look at nonchalant being not showing care or enthusiasm. Also, can we just look at that? Not showing care or enthusiasm. Why is that the goal? Why is the goal to be nonchalant? I don't understand. So if that is the goal, if that is the definition, to not show care or enthusiasm, then it would be safe to say that chalant would be showing concern, enthusiasm, or I don't know, basically just giving a damn. Right? So because the English language has been speckled and assassinated by the little English goblin and the English goblin rules, there is not a word chalant in our English dictionary. But it does have actual old French roots. So French roots, it is real, it is a word, and it is warm, glowing, or enthusiastic. Why do we only have the emotionally unavailable nonchalant? What? I'm reclaiming chalant. I'm reclaiming it because warm, glowing, enthusiastic. What? Yes, we want that. We love that. We love that. Why? Why do we love that? Well, why do I love that? Because I care. I care too much. I love loudly and fiercely because I cry at MTV montages. I cry when people perform on America's Got Talent and they're so good that they just sound like little songbirds of our time. It brings me to tears. I want people to be okay. I want people to know that I care. So me, personally, I'm extremely chalant. I'm extremely chalant. I am painfully chalant. I am beautifully and often inconveniently chalant. So really, I think we should be done pretending that nonchalant is the goal. Why is the goal to be not enthusiastic, to appearing to not have a care in the world about things, to just not show care? No. That can't possibly be the goal. So, no, we're reclaiming it. Brittany, chalant as fuck. And you all should reclaim it too. I really want to hear what makes you chalant. Like, not what makes you nonchalant. I don't care. I don't care when you're emotionally unavailable for things, but like, what makes you so chalant? You're like, Brittany, where did this tirade and tangent come from? I'll tell you. I'll tell you where it came from. I had a meeting this week at work where I walked out of this meeting with my work challenged, my integrity felt questioned and challenged, and my words that I had said were used as ammunition against me. And I got in my own head about it. I started to question, like, I don't know, who I am and like what I stand for, because I was challenged in some of these things that I stand very like passionately on. And if I'm allowed to believe in myself, if I'm allowed to believe that I know what I'm doing. And so, yeah, that I got in my head, it felt so crappy. It felt so, so, so crappy. And having your integrity questioned, like, that never feels good, right? I don't know. I feel like many people probably have felt that way in circumstances. But, like, I feel like having your integrity questioned is its own special kind of cruelty, honestly. Like, it's not feedback, and it's not like, "Oh, let's grow from this situation. Let's learn together." It's really comes across as someone just poking at your moral spine and going, let's see if this person collapses. Like, let's see how much they can take. It's like the lowest of low blows. And that doesn't feel good for anybody. The shit part of this, my therapy, as I already said, had been canceled for this day. So I'm feeling broke and beat down. I'm feeling like I said, questioning myself, what I stand for, what I know to be true and right. Um and I just get to go home and process all of these huge, huge, huge feelings all by myself. Like, hello, universe, saying, hey, Brittany, use all your coping skills you've been working on for so long. So, like, and boo on that. So when I was home, I started off overthinking my day. And I was like, I'm clearly not nonchalant about that. And how could I have shown up differently? And did I need to show up differently? Um, and I couldn't make that land different. Like, I couldn't bring myself to be like, no, you should have been more nonchalant. You should have just like been unfazed by this. I could not get myself to that point. And so there was something really settling in the idea that there is an opposite of that I could be chalant. And it wasn't and isn't a bad thing. We look at the word nonchalant as a positive thing. Like, nobody's ever using nonchalant as a negative statement. Nobody's ever like, he was so nonchalant. Like, I've never heard anybody use nonchalant that way. It's always used as a positive term. But I'm like, I'm not that person. I wear my feelings on my sleeve. I have big, loud feelings. I care passionately and deeply about all of the things, right? So it's not bad to be the opposite of that. It's not bad to be chalant because I care, because I try, because I show up with my whole heart all the time, because I tell the truth, because I feel deeply about things and people, situations and circumstances. And because I choose compassion, even when it's hard. It is hard to show compassion for many, many, many situations. I have shown a lot of compassion to the rattlesnake over the death of my brother because why? Because she lost a kid. Because she lost a son. I hope I never know that feeling. I hope that is something I never can relate to her on 100%. So whether she is an awesome human or not, at the end of the day, that is a feeling no parent should ever, ever, ever have to feel. And so all my own personal feelings aside, I can give a lot of compassion to that woman for that particular situation, regardless of everything else in the whole wide world. So no, I can give compassion, and that's brave. Those things are brave to show up, to try, to care, to be chalant, if you will. That's brave. Realizing and remembering that I don't have to prove my worth and my integrity didn't disappear because someone else had a bad attitude that day. I can sit here and come back to the conclusion that I know what I did. I know I did the right things. I know what you're saying about me is actually not true, no matter how big you want to say it from the chest with. Like, I know you are wrong in this situation, and it's just your bad attitude. I will still be me. I am still good, right? I'm still real. And yeah, I am. I am still chalant as fuck. And I'm going to keep showing up that way because I will not adopt the goal to show up in a more nonchalant fashion. I just cannot commit to that. That does not sound like it has a place on my 2026 bingo card. 10 out of 10. Nope. Will not. But I had to whenever I was at home as I'm going through all of these things. And as I'm even just finding a lot of like power and strength back in this word that is not even in our English vocabulary, right? Like I have gone down a rabbit hole. I have really created an entire identity around a word that is not even really in our English language. And I found a lot of strength from that. Like it healed some little wounds, right? It was sort of like putting some, Neosporin on an ouchie. It just felt a little bit better. Because I didn't imagine how brutal the interaction that I had that day was. And I didn't overreact or take it too personally. I reacted the way I needed to react. I took it as personally as it was because, yes, we are at work and work is work. But when you go and you want to actually make it personal, when you actually want to go after me and what I've said and done, like that is not just work. That is personal. And I took it personal. It was intended to be personal. Like that is 100% that person's power play, whether it is a good or move power play. And I didn't overreact. And it was personal. So I took it personal. I was wounded in that situation because somebody attacked something that was like something that's important to me was attacked, right? Like a core value. If I were to look at like my core values, we actually did this core value exercise at work with my team. And my core values 100% are my integrity, my authenticity, right? Those are a couple of them that are just like top two. So that was attacked. And I don't that matters. It matters when our core values are attacked because those are the things that are the most intrinsically important to us for sure. So it happens, right? It happens and we do just have to bounce back from it. But that night I went home and I licked my wounds and like I said, I got cozy and comfy and found some comfort in a word that I'm reclaiming. I am. If you hear me start shouting from the rooftops how chalant I am all the time, that you know what? You're just going to have to roll with that one. And I encourage you to do the same. But I had to remind myself in those moments that I am human, that I don't always have to perform resilience, right? I finished the meeting strong, like I needed to. And as soon as the key players that like were the problem in this left this meeting, I was immediately in tears. Like I didn't even have the ability to wait until everybody logged off. I fell apart as soon as it was in a safe enough space, right? That's why I said like I took it personal because it was. But I don't think that this was an overreaction. Like, and that piece right there is a little bit why I got home and was kind of in my head, because I'm like, damn, I cried at work. Like I'm supposed to be, have my shit together. I'm supposed to be the leader on my team. I'm supposed to do all of these things, right? I'm telling myself, you should have shown some more restraint in that, which is how I got on that nonchalant rabbit hole. Cause I was like, God, I wish I could have just been more nonchalant about that. That's exactly how that train of thought got there. But like I said, in going through all of this, I came back to the realization that I don't have to perform resilience all the time. And I don't always need to be strong whenever whenever I can't be. And I was strong to the point that I couldn't be until it was safe to not be strong anymore, right? I'm not going to fall apart in front of like meanie sin, but I, I I did it afterwards. um, but then also that when I got home, I didn't need to second guess myself. I didn't need to go down that rabbit hole of being like, oh God, I woulda, shoulda, coulda done so many things so differently, et cetera, because at the end of the day, when you care passionately about something, what good is being nonchalant anyways? What good is it to show up if you care about something and pretend that you don't? What good is it in a relationship, at work, right? Like I'm talking about a work situation, but I'm like this all the time. But like, let's think about how many people show up into like relationships and dating. People talk all the time now about why this is what sucks about dating. Everybody is so nonchalant about things. Like, if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. Like, that can't feel good to anybody, right? What good is being nonchalant if you actually care? So I have a few days to bounce back. I have a few days to fill my own cup. And I have a few days to remember that I am chalant as fuck. And it is okay. And it's okay for you too. I encourage you to be. I encourage you to look at yourself and be like, how am I going to be chalant today? Because that's what meaningful connections are. That's what fills our purpose. Is like, how is it a purpose if you're nonchalant about it? Like, I don't know. It's just not. So that is how I feel about all of those things. I encourage you to look at these things too and figure out what you want to be chalant about, whether it is your relationship or your work or your children or your hobbies or I don't know, your goals, whatever that might have been that you set for 2026, whatever that looks like. Do them and do them chalantly. With that, don't be afraid to be great. Toodles, poodles, bye.